On Monday, we will begin a legal action against ITV and Ofcom to insist that I, as the leader of the Workers' Party, are on their televised debate. And I hope that everyone will support me.
Right, so day before yesterday, Workers' Party of Britain leader George Galloway was launching his party's campaign. And while launching the campaign, he spoke for a number of minutes. He spoke for quite a long time. He also took questions from reporters and made really passionate speech about the values that he stands for, and criticized Keir Starmer of Labour Party and Rishi Sunak of Conservative. But what really shocked everybody was the bit where he said that today, which is Monday, he will be initiating legal action against ITV and Ofcom. Now you have to, I'll play that clip for you, but the context is that it's important for you to understand the context. And the context is that, as you know, we are in the election campaign mode, and different TV channels, they have decided their own plans for leaders debate. And the leaders debate means that the leaders of main political parties, particularly the parties which has leaders who are vying for prime ministerialship or vying to become the prime minister of this country, to invite them and have head-to-head discuss their future policies and priorities. So that is the context. ITV is planning to have that debate. In fact, ITV is the first channel which would have that debate where Keir Starmer and Rishi Sunak will face each other in a US presidential style debate. And that's going to happen tomorrow, which is Tuesday. George Galloway says that since he is fielding 326 candidates, which means that if all his candidates win, he has the majority and therefore he would be the prime minister of this country. That's his argument. So because he's also one of those parties whose leader has the prime ministerial ambition, he should be invited to that debate. And that is the context in which he said that he is going to initiate legal action. Now, I have my take on that, but let's talk about the other aspect of that speech, that he said he's also going to include Ofcom in his legal battle, if that's what he's planning to do. Now, Ofcom is the media watchdog. Historically, it has done amazing job in this country, and I have often cited the role of Ofcom, in my previous 2 TEDx talks that I have given. But sadly, Ofcom has had to face a lot of criticism, rightly so, for its inaction, even when the broadcast rules are being brazenly flouted by the main TV channels, including the BBC, which I've highlighted in my number of videos.
For the Workers' Party, like me, like Aroma, and the hundreds of other candidates that we are fielding, if those millions vote for us, I'll be in the running to be the Prime Minister of Britain, not Keir Starmer and Rishi Sunak. So that's Starmer's biggest problem, and as so often, Shakespeare provides the words to describe the dilemma. That blood is on his hands. All the perfumes of Arabia cannot extinguish these damned spots of blood that are upon him. Moreover, he can't go on, he can't go back. Like Julius Caesar crossing the Rubicon, steeped in blood so far that you cannot work out whether it is bloodier to go on or to go back. He can't change his unequivocal, without qualification, support for Zionism and Israel, because then the people he has so earnestly worked to bring to his side will turn against him. And neither Is there a cost-free way of continuing? Every child that's murdered, every mother that is slaughtered, every father scrambling amongst the rubble, trying to find their loved ones, every one of those is a nail in the political reputation of Keir Starmer and the so-called Labour Party that it supports. So there's no way out, and there's only 6 weeks of this campaign. Labour are the genocide party. The Tories are the genocide party. Who wants to vote for genocide? Who wants to vote for child slaughter? Not many. And even them that do so without love. They move not out of love. Nobody loves Keir Starmer. Not even well, I can't speak for his family, but not even his own party loves Starmer, never mind the general electorate. And nobody loves Rishi Sunak. That's why we've got an election. Do you know why the election's on July the 4th? Because if he'd left it any longer, Sunak would have been overthrown by his own members of parliament. And God knows what we would have got after him. Every time the Tories change leader, it gets worse. Now, we're standing hundreds of candidates. I'm an elected member of parliament. 326 candidates we're standing. How about that? 326. And I'm their leader, and therefore I'm a candidate for Prime Minister. How then, I say this directly to ITV, how can you have a leaders' debate and I'm not in it? How is that possible? I mean, apart from anything else, without wishing to seem immodest, you'll get far more viewers for your debate if I'm on it than if I'm not on it, and everyone knows that that's the truth. And so, on Monday, we will begin a legal action against ITV and Ofcom to insist that I, as the leader of the Workers' Party, are on their televised debate. And I hope that everyone will support me.
Now, to take legal actions against ITV, I think George Galloway, he's a brilliant orator, he's a brilliant leader, and I have said time and again that he is a breath of fresh air that this country desperately needs. But to take actions against ITV, I think somebody should have rightly advised him that that should not have been his priority. Technically, if all his candidates win, he will become the Prime Minister. But there is something called real politics. And we all know that that is not looking like a likely option. The channels against whom he should have been taking legal actions are the channels like BBC and the Sky News, which up until now we have seen that the channel, particularly the BBC, has given disproportionate coverage to parties like Reform UK. I have said it that Reform UK, there is absolutely no way that you can justify that why you had Reform UK candidate on Politics Live presented by Joe Coburn, and then on the very next day or the couple of days later you have Nigel Farage from the same party appearing on Question Time. Doesn't make any sense. And then a number of occasions that you have mentioned or talked about Reform UK on other platforms, i.e. the news website and the radio channels. Because now that we are in the election campaign mode, the Ofcom guidelines clearly say that if you are inviting one particular candidate from one particular constituency, it's absolutely important that you give exactly the same amount of coverage or space to the rival candidates unless they refuse to do so, unless they refuse to accept your invitation. And if they do so, you have to highlight that. Has BBC done that? Has BBC invited George Galloway's party? And George Galloway has mentioned it time and again. When somebody tried to draw his attention, he used the word grotesque. So instead of taking legal action against ITV, George Galloway should have been seriously considering taking legal actions against the BBC or the Sky News. That's where he had the realistic chance. And BBC and Sky News, they are duty bound to expedite the complaints in the election period. That's the Ofcom guidelines say. And Ofcom, of course, you should be taking legal action against Ofcom, because I believe that Ofcom has failed to discharge its duties in the same way that it has been doing in the past. I have tried to highlight and draw Ofcom's attention on Twitter. Ofcom has chosen not to respond. It responds to various other things, but it has not responded to a serious matter like this to my tweets. The fact that you're an amazing leader is not good enough. I think it's important because George Galloway has a lot of things on his plate right now. He's looking at pan UK politics. He's looking at campaigning for his candidates around the country. So it's important that he is being advised by right set of people. And the people who have advised him to take legal action against ITV and not BBC or Sky News, I think they haven't done their job properly. That's what I think, in my humble opinion. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.